Welcome back, everybody, here to the CSGO Championship Series. I'm Toby1, joined by Saticist as well as Fanatics Kana, bringing you our second series of the night. As our first series, we ended up having to have the third game played off the air. So it won't be happening here on the live stream. It will be happening. We'll keep you updated with the results for that one. But due to difficulties, so we won't be having game number 3 or the conclusion of game number 2.
Yeah, and I think that is a reasonable decision. Obviously, not just for the teams to make it easier for them, but also for you guys, the viewers, who have been sitting around very patiently and listening to us ramble on, which I actually enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah,
but now we get back into it.
We should do more of that sometime.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I don't want to sit here for hours on end tonight, so maybe we'll schedule
maybe
that
not
for
tonight.
another time.
I think we've had enough of our discussion tonight, at least.
So we move forward. NiP versus PENTA. On paper, looks like a pretty, I won't say easy, but pretty NiP favoring situation. But PENTA just finished their second top 8. You mentioned it. A lot of people don't really give them the credit they deserve.
No, they have reached some sort of consistency. We talked about earlier. They placed top 8, I think, with a different lineup. However, at the DreamHack Winter event, now top 8 again. Had a very rough start. I could be wrong here, but I think they got knocked down into the lower part of the GSL style bracket, losing 16-2, I believe, on Dust 2 versus LGB. Struggled their way back, beating Titan, knocking out Titan, actually, and then coming back again on Dust 2. That was a surprising map pick from my end, at least. When you lose 16-2, you don't want to play against that same team on the same map. But they did that. Find themselves against Fnatic in the quarterfinals. Was a very one-sided game. I think 16-9, 16-10 in favor of Fnatic. But nevertheless, this is a team that apparently is here to stay. Today, they're facing one of the best, or at least the most, successful team in the history of Counter-Strike Go. 2 teams that haven't had too much of a rest. I read on Twitter earlier today, I think Friber has fallen ill as well. But if that's going to talk in the favor of Penta, I don't know. In terms of maps, we're going to get to that in a moment. I think Dust 2, Inferno, and I think Cash is likely to be played.
As far as Penta goes for tonight, from them, what I kind of want to see is a different style of CS. Because it's something which I feel Penta's normal style, which is this controlled aggression, is looking for the early pick up against NiP, is not going to function. So they need to play something that's different that can catch NiP off, because NiP showed through the ESL 1 week that they were just able to slowly move up, very systematic in their play. Their shots are hitting really nicely. While one player might be off target, the other one makes up for it. They've always got each other's backs when they move, especially on, I think, like Cash was the map which I kind of decoded them the most. Like when they went for their mid push, there was 3 players and they were always holding the perfect crossfire position. And this is something where I think NiP could really just tear apart Penta if they're not careful.
Totally. And another topic to bring to the table, literally, Alu coming in huge. Perhaps not the best start in the group stage and in the early part of the playoffs. Nevertheless, he hit his shots, played phenomenally throughout the grand final versus Fnatic, pushing it into a epic best of 3 game. Ended up 16-13, I think, the last map. But yeah, basically just proving himself. He's the sniper that NiP has been looking for a great while. Obviously, we're measuring this from one event. Gut feeling wise, I think he's likely to stay in NiP for the at least foreseeable future. So yeah, definitely interesting to see how good NiP can be consistently again in 2015 with this sniper, because he's together with JW, Olof Meister, and Titans Kenny S, throw shocks on a good day into that mix as well, like the best snipers on this planet.
I'm interested to see it as well. The one thing that NiP said when they brought in Alu as opposed to Michael Ailey, they didn't really change a whole lot with Michael Ailey. They just put him in and said play. Alu, they sort of restructured and spent a lot more time going over some different strategies. And I still haven't. Obviously, we saw quite a bit of them at ESL 1, but I still haven't figured out exactly some of the rotations on certain maps that they're going to run with. And I'm curious to see if they'll continue changing it up, or if they're happy with it already based on that result. Obviously, like you said, he was slow to start, but latter stages of the tournament, specifically the finals, he was absolutely phenomenal. It's just interesting that they go for so long without a roster change. They go through 2, both in that AWP position, and now it's about consistency. I mean, they've pretty much committed to Alu long term at this point. You have to say, because of another change like that, there's no one else available.
There are certainly a lot of tournaments to play. So yeah, committed is the word. Again, going back to the maps, we talked about that earlier. If we name a few maps that Penta is strong on, that would be Cash, Dust 2, I think they're playing a bit of Inferno as well every now and then. We talked about aggressive AWP there on Dust 2. If I were NiP at this point, I would utilize the fact that we are a very versatile team. They can play pretty much any map, with some exceptions, I guess, in certain matchups. But they should try to push it into somewhat of the, you can say, newer maps. Stay away from maybe Cash, could be a good idea. Penta beat Fnatic leading up to ESL 1. Dust 2. Obviously, NiP lost versus Fnatic in the grand final on that very map. But I think again, like, kind of changed my mind a bit because Alu on Dust 2 is, a strong card to have in your sleeve.
It's just
but it's matter than can he overcome Dennis, who I think is one of the most aggressive AWPer as CT at least on Dust 2. So
It'll be an interesting battle to actually kind of watch him move between someone like Fifth. But yeah, we've got our maps, so no overpass, no cobblestone. We will get our Dust 2, but it's the second map. We're actually going to begin on Nuke.
Yeah, so the new ones go out right away, and I actually thought we might have seen Inferno from NiP. Obviously, we said Penta, like you said, Karn, it's one of their stronger maps, but with Michael Ailey, it was a revitalized map for NiP. With Alu, it didn't look any weaker. Obviously, he's not quite as aggressive in his peaking, but they took it out nonetheless, so it's Nuke, no surprise, NiP's awesome on it, and then Dust 2 was the choice for Penta, which we talked about.
Surprised to see that, if I'm able to interpret the visuals here, that Penta removed Cobblestone.
Yes, that's right.
That was their first ban. I believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think NiP hasn't played Cobblestone at all lately, ESL 1 in specific.
Publicly wise, as far as any interviews, I didn't see anything from NiP saying that, this is the map we're searching for. Like, this is the map we're practicing. There was nothing like that. It was like 2 or 3 other teams that said that instead.
Sure, and pretty much anyone that plays or watch Counter-Strike know NiP's strength on Nuke. It's one of the most successful maps for them, if not the most successful map. The players pretty much was born on this map. I'm surprised to see that Penta dares to enter. I'm not even sure if they are to enter any bomb spots at all, but let's see. Knife round on this very map is a very important one. Nuke is the most one-sided map in the current pool, CT being extremely dominated. But maybe they have some ideas, maybe they have some ideas, and maybe they can catch a NiP that is a bit off guard, a bit slow after, going into a very long, frustrating, and the final ESL, and only having 1 day to recover, and the Freiburg being ill as well. Maybe they have some ideas regarding that, but surprised nevertheless to see Nuke to be played.
And it was actually a T-sided comeback for NiP when they played it at ESL. That was the storyline against TSM to win that map, and which is very, very unheard of and very unlikely in the game. But to go back to the point you were just briefly touching on, Penta's sort of the underdog, the newcomer to this top level of top-tier play. You said it, their mentality. You mentioned this in our previous matchup. Their mentality, they've got more to prove. NiP's a little exhausted. They just came off that run, and it's back online. It's hard to get your head back up, but Penta's going to be here. They want to win everything they can.
Totally. But let's see. Starting with Nuke. I predict if NiP starting as CT is going to be, I said earlier, one-sided, but even more so when we're talking about NiP. Finding ourselves at a score around 16-5 or something like that. But you mentioned it as well. Like, TSM struggled to close NiP down when they were T, which kind of shows that NiP has a strong T side as well, even though people may argue and say that TSM has historically been extremely bad at closing versus NiP, and that I think in the ESL 1 game, semifinals, correct? That was a great showcase of that. They made a lot of blunders late game that they shouldn't have done. Sorry, that was the quarterfinals. So TSM had their chance, they didn't take it. Let's see if Penta is the man for the job right now.
Well, before we actually get ourselves into the game, we're going to remind all the viewers who are currently tuning in, if you want to, subscribe to the channel. You can win the wonderful giveaways, which are listed in the thing below, which has now disappeared. You can here. So,
StatTrack USB, AK-47 Cartel, M4A1S Atomic Alloy, a StatTrack M4A1S Blood Tiger, and then an two different ops, one of which is an Electric Hive. So,
So we're giving away all that stuff tonight. All you got to be is a subscriber on the channel, and
and that also supports the prize pool.
It does,
which is my favorite part of it all. It's directly giving back to your to your teams and supporting your teams. So every time you subscribe, of course, we have those goals as well. If we hit $125,000 in the prize pot, we get one-on-ones at DreamHack Bucharest. If we hit $150,000, we get an all-star game, which apparently can include casters and analysts, and I'm a little nervous.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Be really kind.
Let's see you. This isn't Dota.
I want to see that.
Yeah. I'm sure you do.
I would be very concerned about that. There's always that point where it's like, man, you gotta be a really great player to be a commentator. I'm like, no, that's not the way this works.
Yeah, or at least we want you to think that's the way it works. But now it's your if you want to find out,
it's a chance to
prove that,
expose you and me for God's sake as well.
Yeah.
Speaking about random standings, I guess Cuban was a great showcase of that. Obviously, they were down 0-7, but through a default win, I think they
not gonna claim this.
They made it to a third map.
You couldn't let it go.
Everything is
You
possible.
couldn't let it go.
If you're able to achieve it yourself, or you take help from external sources.
I'm just gonna bite my lip over here. And congratulations, Karn, getting that one in there when you could. I don't blame you.
It looks like we're actually ready to go inside the game, as you must be in the wrong server.
Apparently so.
So yeah, we're actually going to be starting our knife round for Penta versus Ninjas in Pajamas. So we're going to get set all underway, and of course we can say, Khan, enjoy your break as we get our knife round underway. Penta versus NiP, map number 1. Just to reiterate as well what happened early tonight with our VP versus match. It's a 1-1, and the third game is being played offline. That's what's happening. So we're into this one, knife round. So we go outside, and it's kind of important for Penta to win this one. They need to have any kind of momentum they can, and that's AKA CT side. But I don't think NiP will actually be too sad if they lose this. As we were mentioning before, NiP don't mind as the first game of the night actually starting on T side. Even if it is as imbalanced as this, but it looks like they'll be able to claim their own side now.
Yeah, next drop, so they should start out CT. Yeah, they called switch already, so they'll get their way. And now it'll be interesting to see how they go and play with this. Obviously, so much to work with. We talk about Nuke being outside is the name of the game. The place to exploit opens up things a whole lot more.
Sorry. That's actually one of my favorite moments from ESL 1 is Monel quoting inside the chat. I say, Cajun, you say... You never saw it.
I didn't see it. What did I miss?
What did I miss? It was one of the greatest things without trying to get the crowd up. I was like, you say Cajun. I say Cajun. You say B. I say Cajun. You say B. Cajun. B. Yeah.
I caught brief. I was touring around Romania and trying to catch the games at the same time, so.
Failure. All right, pistol round. We're off and running. Penta with the aggro. They're the ones with the play, and they're going to commit towards the ramp room here in the pistols, pushing very, very quickly in. Forrest's already going to back up, and NiP just move into a more defensive position here as CT. All right, so Get Right's the closest one to it all. NiP just making sure they got the vents. A still pretty well covered, but the ramp belongs to Penta. They're actually all down into the lower part of the ramp. Get Right coming from behind. They're really getting choke point up. Alu actually battling over the doors from inside Toxic. The plan is on the way down as Next takes over the vents, and he's going to find Forrest in here. Already great pickoffs coming out from Penta into a 3-on-2 situation. Exist. They need to retake the site. The bomb is ticking. He managed to bring down Trouble, and he was the big flanker. He was the one that would keep Ninjas in Pajamas looking behind themselves. And the defuse is starting. Well, that's not going to work. He's trying to bait them to come out. Already exists going down. Alu takes out one. Needs a second. Ducking under Dennis. The last player left alive. The defuse is coming again. But it's going to be too late. Alu will drop. And Penta able to take the first round over on T's at the hands of Dennis.
I really liked Alu's peeking over the door there. That was very clever. He got the first kill, in fact, through the smoke, so they didn't know where he was. He sat in Toxic, waited. Exist did a great job to make it a lot closer. And then when he came out, he was faced with that 2-on-1. Couldn't stick the defuse. No kit. Unfortunately, didn't get that kill on Dennis in time. Great play by him to evade. And then now we get a 1-0 score from Penta.
I like how Alu now buys the kit for this second round. And Penta, not very often you get to see the shotty coming out here from Speedy on the first round of the T side. And Alu, well, he's going to be dropped to the scout, dropped in the outside garage. Trouble, he's able to claim outside because they're spamming through the wall. Getting a little bit of a tag into Get Right. And Exist dropping down to give a little bit more support, but Penta, they're just battling on the outside, but they're not committing that heavy. They own the outside, but they're not coming into A just yet.
That smoke's still going to hold off Get Right.
He can hear him running.
From seeing them get around behind him, though. He can definitely hear them, but now look at how much outside control they have.
I think Freiburg does not want to peek out through heaven. Needs to hold in tight. Realizing the Penta's behind him. Might want to be careful about the boost up to come in from behind heaven. And Penta's running out of time here. Like, it's 40 seconds and they're nicely prepared.
They're going straight for this ladder climb. They're going to take the bomb up there as well, so they need to get the kill quickly. They do at least force them onto the ground, and there's the slaughter. They'll come in from all angles, so it does work out. If that bomb had been dropped up there, though, if that play hadn't have worked on, I believe it was Get Right, that could have gone disastrously wrong.
Yeah. Well, Ninjas in Pajamas. 2 rounds down. Obviously, they weren't really expected to win the second round. Here is CTs, and they're going to go for a third eco, a full eco as well. Nothing being purchased on, well, apart from 2 pistols, but that's it.
Speedy's gone for the shotgun, which usually you see on the CT side up close at Hut, but he's going to try and use it in reverse effect.
Yeah, he had that one from the second round. At NiP, they've really got to start playing the levels here. Engaging up against Penta when they got this big gun advantage. Like, Penta did it perfectly. They realized Ninjas in Pajamas were going to hold very defensive inside the site. So what they did is they got into the perfect position. They took outside. The second Alu went down, that's what opened it up for Penta. And then they got into the perfect sandwich position and basically made Ninjas in Pajamas the meat. There goes Get Right outside again. So Ninjas in Pajamas have only got the guys on the inside.
And again, they're working all the way around. Bombs there again, and Trebly and Dennis. Forrest is down below.
I lost Freiburg too. Well, this eco round, there's just no joy coming in for Ninjas in Pajamas. They're not finding any kind of crossfire. There might be one moment right now from Exist. The spam started coming out, but there's still more than enough bullets left inside that AK for Next to finish the job. And he reads Forrest coming up from Secret. And that leaves only Alu left, and he's already dead in hell. So 3-0 in favor of Penta. Great start for the T round, but this will be the first buy round for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Is Alu going to save it? No, he doesn't. He goes directly into the M4.
You're wondering if you try and wait for the AWP?
Well, either wait for the AWP efficiently or go for a glass cannon play, which would have been more likely. But I think he was just shy of being able to do that, so he'll go for an M4. No head armor. Not a huge deal. He's up against AKs, although there is one Galil. There's a chance it would make a difference, but look at this upper take right now. They're already through the doors. They're going to go for a 1-1 trade, but there's Forrest up above. That's your bomb dropped, and now NiP's got an answer, as Forrest will also collect on Speedy. Trebly puts him down in the end, but he's all that remains against 3 ninjas.
And he's so injured, there's no way he's going to survive that one. I'm surprised Penta did this, realizing it's the first buy round for Ninjas in Pajamas, and they try and do this quick push, but they didn't do like the instant door break vent drop down into B side. It was this breakthrough, and then, crap, we're getting shot at. Where do we go from here? We've tripped over our own shoelaces, and we can't get into the A site. And that was just because Ninjas in Pajamas, obviously with the new M4s, they are able to hold from up in the rafters.
Crystal didn't have to upgrade, though, in the last couple of rounds, so now they do have an AWP, and it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to play this. He's gone up above on Twinkie, so they'll play for an outside presence. It's Get Right who's fallen back.
Yeah, he's not giving any kind of vision right now. They've already lost outside the last, like, 3 rounds. Yeah, still 3 rounds. If you don't count the last one. There was still a lot of lost control outside. Speedy with the Molotov. He's already into a battle. He's able to bring down Exist. So they can get through the hut, and Get Right's feeling the push coming outside. So throws down the Molotov, trying to slow down this Penta push with the smoke is covering perfectly. Almost perfectly. I think there's a small little gap there, but it's enough for Dennis to shoot down Get Right. But that means Secret now belongs to Penta. But Get Right, he's moved himself all the way into the lobby from Squeaky.
The bomb's in Secret, though. They're going to have to drop down quickly. First already gone, and now it's going to be Freiburg to join. But Dennis is on the backside. This is an easy kill for him. There's one down, and they've still got Forrest inside the site. Luckily, Alu's going to at least make it a little bit easier for him by getting the first, but he's used a lot of bullets, and Crystal up close doesn't care what's left in his clip because the AWP gets the shot. And that's going to make it 4 rounds now for Penta. And that all started off with those 2 initial picks. And again, they got that outside control. And this time they utilize it by going down the stairwell.
I'm kind of surprised that Ninja Pajamas, when the 2 players went down through vents, they both looked towards the bomb site. Obviously, a lot of players are going to beat there, but no one was covering through the back vent area. And it was just perfectly
Especially
taken
when by
Dennis.
process of elimination, they had to have gone outside. You knew you lost a man out there.
Yep.
So it was a bit questionable.
Well, now Ninjas in Pajamas back to eco again. Alu's going to try and hold while Exist being over-aggressive inside that mid. Alu, at least he's got the ramp. He's got more health coming in too.
And they'll just contest this with the smoke out. Next tries to flash himself.
Penta's making sure they don't lose any weapons here. Troubly
Man.
taking out Freiburg outside, so again, outside's lost. Not really expecting to hold it during an eco though. But Ninjas in Pajamas, they're not playing the normal up or down game inside the vents. The holding of Secret's been really difficult for them. And even the aggressive pushes, it's only resulted in a one-on-one trade, which has left Ninjas in Pajamas more exposed than anything else.
It's Get Right. It's normally the player that's in there. We see him climb in here late this round, but he's been playing a little more toward the outside. Troubly comes up the ladder. Alu gets him from down below, so that's a 1-1 trade, but Dennis resumes that position and already finds a kill. Spots up Get Right waiting in the corner as well. So they'll get 5, and Speedy's going to go ahead and take the extra. Oh, no, never mind. Didn't quite get it. No extra money for him.
Penta's moving so well. Like, NiP is still running so many pistol rounds that's the reason why we're now sitting at a 5-1. But Ninjas in Pajamas, we're going to go for a bit more of a force buy here. They've got a couple of Famises here. So it's not a full buy for NiP. But it may be enough to try and hold out. It's all about Penta and these early pickups. Without the AWP, they can't control outside. So these force buys are really hurting Ninjas in Pajamas. That's why Get Right's this man who's been left here. They pushed Alu into the ramps and just let Get Right hold the garage. And he's waiting for them to basically walk on top of him. So they try and set a trap as opposed to contest the outside.
Speedy's going to try and go back toward ramp, though. 1 for him, that's it. Alu resumes the battle, takes him down, and now it's Freiburg up above who turns and collects Dennis on his way in, but Troubly's also there, and he doesn't get both. Exist finally will take down that Penta player, and
Penta's hurting.
They've still got 2 up, though. There is still Crystal on 2 HP with that AWP, and he's just watching toward heaven. It only takes him 1 shot. Next is going to take down Alu, and he knows he's up there. He has to, so Exist might have the HP advantage, but he's going to have to be brilliant with his peaks. That bomb plant going to go down. Oh, Crystal's looking the wrong way. He's looked away. He's given up on the fact he's up there. Fortunately, he's not fully exposed. There's the first shot. Exist sees him, but can't collect his lag, and now
he's going to play this so patiently, Crystal. Wait for the defuse to come and then have a bit of a look. But Exist is not going to wait for it, and the nade's going to finish the job. And in fact, it will do so. Easy defuse for Exist, and Ninjas in Pajamas will get their second round on CTs. It's still a very costly round, however. They've only managed to save, well, the AWP he's managed to grab in. But Ninjas in Pajamas, they're not looking the greatest as far as money goes, but they have the AWP for outside now, and this is where Penta, either they're going to get the first pick on the AWP, or they try and play the inside game. And Crystal's the man with the AWP for Penta.
And Penta's already got 5. So that's enough on T to already make a case if they start things off well. CT side, of course, NiP is very T-oriented. We saw what they can do at ESL 1 on this map. Freiburg's already got the first. There's Forest above. That's next to drop. Bomb's down in an awkward position as well, and now he'll collect Dennis. He's going to get more. It's Troubly to drop, but Crystal finally answers him from the top of Twinkie.
Forest.
That bomb still dropped in a really bad spot, though. Crystal's only on 7 because he was tagged up before that, and I believe it was Get Right that put the shots into him before he dropped.
Freiburg's push up through mid as well meant that, because it was an aggressive push by one of the players from Penta. It was just like a bit of a floater play. Crystal misses the shot as well. The AWP recovery. I'm not seeing if he got there in time. Did he get there in time? No, he didn't get there in time. Yeah, but this from Forest. The second the AWP ended up on top of the box as well, Penta realized just how bad this was. Forest took out 3, couldn't take out the last one on top of Silo, and yeah, trouble all around. But no one has an AWP this time around, but Penta, we're gone a double Tech 9 build. And they're just going to rush the outside. When all else fails, if they got guns, pull out the Tech 9s, get as much of a trade as you possibly can on this round.
Get Right's already forced passively back, but there's a huge gap if he could see through it. There's one.
He's got
Exist
support
has
from
actually
high.
Got it from above, and yeah, he's got support from Secret now as well, because it looks like
out there.
Yeah, everyone's rotated around. Freiburg got there very quickly, so no damage dealt that time. And NiP get a bit of a chance to build a buffer. But again, still 5 rounds for Penta. They're 1 up.
Yeah, that was perfectly done by Ninjas in Pajamas. They realized Penta's going to be doing something crazy to try and get themselves back into the game, or at least cost Ninjas in Pajamas a couple of weapons, and they guessed it was outside. So they had already 2 waiting outside, and then the support from Exist from up in heaven. All you had to do was peek out with the M4, and it was enough assistance. Alu would have been the one to make the call if they were going to come towards the ramps, and then it would have been a simple rotation. But they guessed right, which means they're in the perfect position, and very little for Penta to gain. They are going 5 AKs this round. At NiP, they're playing, again, very, very defensive in their positions.
Get right threw out one aggressive smoke outer, but didn't push forward. It nonetheless kept them guessing. But look at the spam game going on right now. And oh, that's Dennis, who's again being aggressive. Drop down from Twinkie. Troubly's making sure there's no one out toward the catwalk, but it's Get Right that's going to be under pressure. And they know he's been playing in that spot.
Flash hurts.
That was a bit of a team flash, but no one peeks against it.
Get Right's trying to use the corner of the smoke. He can still see over to Secret. There's the same smoke.
Oh, he saw the shadow.
The shadow came down. So he realized that Penta's on the run in here, but it's Crystal who's the one to get the kill. As Dennis couldn't connect enough. Forrest moving out. Takes out Crystal at least. Putting that Famas to work. Freiberg, the man who has to defend. So the flash is already coming in. Turns the back. Takes the one in through the main. Still looking down towards that Squeaky, but he's able to get it. Jumping down. Speedy's down here as well. And he's the last one left alive, but he's been completely flanked. Alu pushed up from the ramp room. And it's 5-5 now. Ninjas in Pajamas starting to get a bit more of a streak, and Penta forced back to pistols with a little bit of a buy coming up here on Speedy.
I'm surprised that they didn't let Exist save and drop one out for him. He bought himself, but there's 9K for Alu.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money there. They got AWP 100% next round at least.
They could have gone for it this round if they'd wanted to with that drop.
But knowing you're up against pistols, it's not as essential. When you're going up against the rifles, I could understand it, but why take the risk? Potentially a Tech 9 could come in and take you out.
Smoke off on ramp. Forrest going to find the first outside. He's changing his angle up. That's a different one again, so another man advantage. Question is, where do they push forward? Because Freiberg's also going to find Troubly. That puts us back to a one-man advantage for NiP. But down below they go. Watch out, though. Forrest already on this flank. He's going to get an easy one up close. That's Speedy down. And a second one on the bomb carrier. That was Nex, who got a kill just before that. Finally, Dennis turns around from control room, but Get Right puts it right back into him, and now NiP take their first lead.
Yeah, and they've managed to get themselves up one round, and of course the money does start to come in a little bit more. Penta, they're doing a full 5 AKs of full armor, heads included. And Ninjas in Pajamas, I'm not seeing anything on Forest. Now he's going to buy up the AWP. So that's double AWP. No, one AWP. One AWP in there for Ninjas in Pajamas. But he did great work when he went up to the catwalk last time. But look at Penta. This time it's the quick push. Do they breach in quick? They get the first pick up, but the Molotov is locking them down. Troubly, he does get into the site, but he cannot get any kind of kills. Alu now also rotated up, throwing out the nades, trying to keep back Penta, taking out Dennis as well, leaving one last remaining player, which Get Right will take care of as he managed to bring himself in through the outside and made entrance. 7-5 in favor of NiP. Penta again with that quick rush. I'm still surprised they're not using the vents. They're legitimately trying to take A when they push in.
There's no real... Oh, you're talking T side. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe that strategy is not as likely. You're going to take a lot of damage. All you really look for there is a bomb plant. But I'm still interested by this setup from NiP. We've yet to see Alu carry the op. It's going to be Forrest who's done it, and they're doubling up on ramp. It's Get Right who's been playing it outside. And we're going to see him here come under a little bit of pressure from Troubly, who's pushing up with no smokes or anything. But look at it over at ramp right now as Forrest already takes down Nex, but he got Alu just before that, so it's an even trade. Unfortunately, unlike most maps where the terrorists get the advantage there, that's not the case on Nuke because the rotations are so strong, you're not going to spread out the defense at all.
Is this a normal thing as well, that Alu is not your primary scope on this map? Because I know Forrest has been playing the AWP a lot more because he's feeling very comfortable of late with it.
Oh, nice nade by Troubly. Good awareness. It just depends on a couple things. I mean, Forrest is a lot more dynamic on this map. Alu hasn't had the economy to pull it out directly. But I think, yeah, they're going to stick with Forrest on it. And with Get Right playing outside as opposed to inner right now, they've definitely changed things up. Exist on an off angle. Does catch Dennis. Good awareness.
He knew he was being flanked from behind. He's also wanting to make sure he can save that AWP, which he's seeing right on top of at the moment. Unfortunately, both the AWPers from NiP are currently dead.
Question is, who's going to rotate down quickly from NiP because they're going to get a free bomb plant right now.
to Molotov into the vent, and Freiberg just kills him from above, jumps down as well. The plan is there, but there's no T's left alive. They still haven't gone back and pick up that AWP. Yep, you move your little legs up there.
So they got enough based on the bomb plant that they'll be able to force out. Had they been a little bit quicker, NiP, on that rotation, it would have changed things and absolutely made them save entirely, but instead they'll get 5 AKs. Bought down to very little otherwise. 5 smokes, so watch for an outside execution. The question is, does NiP read it again? It's going to be Get Right that's leading off in that position. And the rest are all heading inner. Although, as I say that, the smokes are heading inner as well, so maybe they're going to go for this ramp push.
Nades, flashes. Alu, though, waits down perfectly behind the box. He doesn't get the kill, though. He managed to get one, but Nex as well as Speedy now, finding some openings. So they've managed to take ramp once again here, Penta. But they're down to 3 players, 3 on 3, and Ninjas in Pajamas have already come down to vents. Freiberg actually getting taken out from long range on Dennis. Exist. He's able to even the score up. He's more of an opening, though. He does not want to try and peek this window because he also wants to wait until Get Right's coming down that ramp. Get Right was able to take out the second T. So it's all up to Dennis. 2-on-1 situation.
Oh, but Dennis was smart. He pushed right through. He's going to try and go up. The only problem is that vent wasn't blown out. So as soon as he did it, his position was gone. So we'll go to the other side. So clever, so patient.
But Get Right's already there. He read the play perfectly, and Dennis is not expecting that. He was looking up towards heaven, expecting some kind of attack to come from there. But it's not going to happen. Last round of the first half, 9-5 in favor of Ninjas in Pajamas. Penta should still be very, very happy with this first half, no matter what the result is with this round.
It was 5-1 at one point, so NiP a little bit slow to get started. But like I said, 5 rounds was enough.
Penta just carried the momentum after that first pistol round. That's what it was all about. And the second win on the first buy.
So no AKs out, and no one outside. They've completely changed it. Such a difference in defense from NiP of old on this map.
Freiberg's still up high, but he's actually inside this time.
Get Right's at heaven as well, so he'll be able to spot.
Exist even try to spam through the wall a little bit. They're feeling someone's coming here. They put the flame down. So the Molotov is stopping Penta from just breaching in.
Forrest is at lockers, so they've got a double shot right now. And there it is, Forrest with 2.
Good control. He's looking for a third one as well. He can see 2 players still outside here for Penta. Get Right's landing the hand. Forrest is able to pick up his 3rd scalp for the round. And that just leaves Speedy. In the last round with 1 AK, there's no saving. He's got 50 seconds. I don't know if he's trying to call for a knife. He's at least going to kill off Forrest. Looking for the second, able to get him, but cannot wrap up the round tightly enough. So 10-5 in favor of Ninjas in Pajamas up against Penta.
So not a bad start. A little slow start from NiP, but not a bad first half overall. Karn, thoughts from you? I thought that was a pretty difference in defense from NiP.
It was a NiP waking up a bit late, I guess. Losing the pistol round and the following 2 eco rounds. But then eventually the balance of the universe got back to a neutral point where NiP just showed up, they got the rounds they needed, I'd say. But Penta, if I look at this beforehand, I'd say if they get 5 rounds, that's pretty good considering you're playing NiP. But they should have kept up the momentum better than they did. They were extremely aggressive early on. They rushed ramp on the pistol round. They had some aggressive rounds on the first weapon rounds. But then they need to be a bit smarter what the next moves are, because they just try to push and push and push and do the same thing. NiP is too smart for that.
Well, we're back into the game already, so we begin the second half. Pistol rounds underway. And Ninjas in Pajamas are the ones who are on the aggressive side. They've already lost 1. In fact, they've now lost 2. As Penta holding in very, very tight. A little bit of a trade-off. But at the same time, with Forrest, the last man left alive, I take that back now. He's dead. Penta will take the first round here on the CT side.
Yeah, that's a great start, because NiP, yes, okay, they're T-sided team. You're still on Nuke. Not getting that pistol in an initial burst of potentially 3 rounds makes your job a lot harder.
Look at the items also, the weapons being purchased up here by Penta. There's that shotty coming out from Speedy again, but next, he loves actually doing this with the P90. So watch for his aggressive push into Ninjas in Pajamas. He'll move to a front position and then just look for the pickoffs.
And it's Nex who's up above.
Well, they're jumping up onto Silo.
Troubley's outside with that M4, though, so if they get up there, he's got a good shot. He's the one to be there. He's the one you'd want with that rifle, but they've also got a player pushed up around
they look down.
T-Red, so they've got some good map control. Nice shot by Forrest. There's your pistol all-star, the absolute best pistol player on the planet. Shows off why he is gives them the early advantage, and Crystal's low HP. Dennis now has to play so efficient with this M4. By the way, Forrest also collected that other one that was outer, so great start, and oh, Freiberg's going to catch Dennis.
That Rec 9 going to work. He was trying to bait that one, spamming through the door, gave Dennis the confidence to then try and push up through Hut into the lobby, and everything kind of fails from there. And with their pistols, they're able to hold the CTs in vents. Exist going to go for the plant. Alu's coming in behind, and Freiberg, in fact, just drops from above. He'll mop up the last one, so Speedy will go down. That was
didn't lose a single player on the eco. That was just brilliantly executed. They found every kill they could. And Dennis got really aggressive toward Hut again, walked right through. He got caught out. Everyone that dropped gave away a gun. It wasn't even like they found kills, and then there was instant response. They were completely divided right there.
Yeah.
So now NiP's in the driver's seat.
This is what happens. Like, this is what we talked about with Penta as well. They play high risk, high reward strategy, but when obviously you play high risk, things can go absolutely horribly. And that's kind of what happened. It was just one after one pick up. Dennis, this time he plays aggressive again, but he gets the first frag. So bringing down Freiberg. Alu, he's managed to claim down inside of Secret now. So Penta have to look behind him.
Get Right's trying to get some damage through onto Dennis.
Look at Alu. He's actually managed to get himself all the way over to the bottom ramp. Is he trying to flank up behind Penta? I think they realize they're getting flanked, so they're going to move up through comms into lobby, taking out Exist as well as Get Right. Alu's now going to arrive, but Speedy,
though.
He heard him coming. He was making so much noise on the way there. So it's all up to Forrest, 1-on-2 inside the vents, but he is on the A side.
I don't think Speedy saw him. He might have seen his gun cross over, and that's it. He's dropping down. That bomb went down. They recovered that rifle, and Penta ecos right back. Great play by Speedy to be aware of Alu on that flank. So now it's 11-7. We do still have some guns being bought out from NiP. So a very unorthodox start to this second half.
Well, it's up to the now CTs. Can they hold the line? It's not a huge amount of money they've got, but it should be enough to do the job.
They need to watch out for this outside push, though. There's one smoke and a nade already out, but I think
heavy.
Troubly's realized they've already got past that, so he falls back and tries to find a better angle to use with his teammate.
Speedy's there to help him. In fact, Speedy walking straight into Get Right. That's the drop which Get Right did back when they were on Eco. Freiberg had to move up through Squeaky, taking out one, then up to the rafters, takes out Next as well. A beautiful patient breach.
And that's all good and well when he's your entry fragger, but everything's slowed down outside. The bomb's out there, and Crystal's got it secured. That's Exist as well. So similar to how we saw Taz on a pistol round with VP on Mirage, Freiberg found a way into the site, but everything else fell apart for them, so there was nothing he could do, and now it's going to be Penta picking up back-to-back rounds and NiP forcing to save. This goes to 11-9. Penta's in a great position right now.
I'm really not quite sure about this floating position from Alu. Like they've really taken him off being one of the cores and just thrown him into what is normally Forrest's role. And he hasn't had a hell of a lot of success with it yet.
So we'll see one Deagle out. And that's it. It's actually on Freiberg, who just took a nade, so down to 37.
That wasn't really the plan running outside. Both Freiberg and Exist took a lot of damage from this. And Forrest looking for that drop down again. This is the third time NiP have tried to do this on the T side, where they just boost over the silos and get on top of Mini. Next
was there, but he went away. Troubly, though, doesn't care. He's got 3, make it 4 as they drop down. And that's the bomb as well, so it's all up to Get Right with only a Glock.
Yeah, he's kind of screwed. No matter how he looks at this. He's sitting
just
back.
Chilling on T-roof.
Yep. Wait for someone to come. He'll actually just drop down, battle up against Crystal. He's not going to get the kill as they bring in more support. Be Dennis to take the frag. And yeah, Troubly with a 4-for outside. That Ninjas in Pajamas just trying to go like drop bears from outside. Not working. And Ninjas in Pajamas do have enough money they can go for another buy.
So they'll go for AKs, though.
And they really need to win this round. If they don't, Penta is just going to be stocked up so much on cash that every round's going to be a buy round for them.
They've got 5 smokes. We'll see how they choose to use them. But already Troubly's getting very aggressive with an outer smoke, so he's pushed up underneath the Twinkie. That could catch them off if they don't check that coming around. You think by default they would with that smoke there, but we saw Get Right use it and not push. Although, watch out. There's Dennis again. We talk about his CT aggression. This time it catches them out. Exist wise to it, although lost a lot of HP in the process.
Hey, you should play the numbers game right now. Make sure he stays alive. Okay, the numbers game is kind of over. It seems Troubly with an aggressive push-up just on the other side of Mini. Was able to catch out the aggressive Get Right. Get Right not really finding any space on this map of Nuke.
Smokes outer on Mini. Holds off Alu and Forest. And Exist is still in lobby. They want to try and get control of this upper site, but if they don't do it soon, they'll switch over to ramp, which they are doing now, and it's going to be, oh, look at this boost.
What?
It's going to be, wow, great awareness to spot him out because he couldn't get the first shot. It's actually going to be Exist who gets the kill as he was boosted up in the corner. Haven't seen that used in a while, but look at Speedy inside the site. He gets them both on entry. Luckily, Alu's still alive and down below, catches him out as he didn't know he was up close, so NiP get one more back their direction.
He was up in the rafters of that.
Yeah, and actually we talked about that last week, that you can get up there, but I didn't think you could go that far to the left and behind the yellow.
It seems so far up. Like, we were talking about using the big yellow donger that's basically dropping from the roof and using it as a form of protection, but getting all the way up, he was seemingly covered up there too.
Likewise, though, it caught him out because he didn't have much of an angle to peek, so when he missed his shot, it pretty much gave him away.
The downside about that area, you can't get back down again because he would have died from the fall as well, from that height, after he took the initial damage. So you either make the first shot or you die. That's simple.
Troubly, yeah, this is a change of pace here from Penta. He's going to play it from a different angle. I like to see this this hybrid style of defense. Crystal's also holding on ramp all by himself from Turnpike, so they're looking for quick rotations. Troubly's already going to get Forest, but here comes NiP. They're trying to catch him. Oh, he just gets around the corner, and that flash buys him a little more time as well. But his days are numbered. He's so low on HP, but Speedy might just bail him out. That's Get Right to drop, and he's secured an AK as a result of that.
That he did. Exist was the man to help him out, even though it didn't count as an assist on the board. That was something, like, they had a little bit of team damage.
But look at how much this does to them, because now they have to keep their attention back towards Speedy, and it was Exist who had the bomb. If Speedy wasn't there, they were in and planted, but instead he sat and had to wait, because otherwise the flank was far, far, far too obvious. So just by having that presence, just by being annoying, look what it did to NiP.
It's completely stopped the push. The bomb's in the hands of Freiburg. He managed to move all the way from outside back down below, but Crystal's watching the area perfectly. They realized both the players were down there in secret, so they just watched it. Dennis wants to know how much. Yeah, it wasn't a hell of a lot for Freiburg. He knew how damaged he was. So 12-10. Ninjas in pajamas forced into an eco. And Penta, as we said before, they're loving the money. They've got so much on them, but they're not going for any AWPs.
They don't have a whole lot, to be fair. If they lost this, they would be right back in a tight spot because they've lost a good number of bodies, but we'll see how NiP choose to use this. They want to try and get this outer presence, but Troubly's already stopping them, and Exist tries to bait out that peak, doesn't get enough of it, although Force coming over the top will eventually respond. And there's Speedy with two more, right back the other way. Next gets the final kill, and now it's all in 1 point, all in one round the difference.
And all that AK which Alu stole was in his hands for a grand total of 2 seconds.
And NiP is still not really in a great position to buy. They're going to force it out, but they're going to have to go with Galil's.
As long as you got a Rec 9, you're fine. That thing's basically an AK.
They've only got 3 smokes, so yeah, inner it's going to be, because if they commit to outer, they've pretty much got to use all 3 to cover that cross. And an auto sniper, by the way, for Troubly.
Alu's moving so quickly up. He's right in front of Crystal, and Crystal comes for the peak. He's able to bring down Exist. But this opens up the ramp room. No one else is there while Get Right playing this Tech 9 from range up against Troubly. So one outside down, one B ramp down, and then the battle from Forest. A little bit too late. Speedy's able to get the upper hand there. But the rest of NiP are waiting for the jump downs. The Speedy as well as Next working nicely. Jumping over, gets the crossfire, and the bomb's exposed. Alu's the man here, but with the Molotov dropping, it's just behind Alu. Actually, no, he must have walked back into the fire. Get Right's the last remaining player for NiP. He's down inside the B site, but that bomb is over at ramp and being covered by 2 players. In fact, only one properly.
At least pick up an AK.
He can't hold this, though. Like, it's 40 seconds. The only thing he can hope for is to kill off a couple of the Penta players.
At least gets the bomb. He might be able to push himself back in, but he's got to watch out there. As we can see, Dennis is on the backside. If he drops down those vents, it's quick. I think Get Right actually thinks about it and wants to go upper. Oh, he drops down in front of him. Now he's got a chance to go upper. This is easy because they're pushed all the way out toward ramp. They've got a long rotation. Although Speedy's going to get to heaven quite quickly, so Get Right's got to be careful.
no!
But he dropped
what?
He fell
dropped
to his death. Is Get Right going to get another 1v3? And this time with a help? You don't give this guy handicaps in this situation. So one-on-one we go, and the peak comes out. It's actually going to go the way of Nex. Man, oh man, Speedy almost threw the round away.
I'd like to see where he killed himself.
He tried to go for pallet drop, and he missed.
Okay,
So
that's what it was.
He hit the floor.
Oh, man.
That was incredibly close.
Dropping for info. That's all it could have been.
Oh, man. I think that's the last person you want to kill yourself in a one-on-two against.
This round's going to be so brutal for Ninjas in Pajamas. There's an auto sniper plus the AWP for the Troubly as well as Speedy. So this outside is going to be an absolute massacre. Troubly's waiting for it. Spam, spray. Can't actually get anything. And Freiburg just runs in. Troubly will bring him down. Shooting off the hip with that auto sniper. And the Speedy goes up into heaven, expecting for the flank to come. And he's right. He's going to get the pick over on Forrest. Dennis battling in the vents. Only one kill so far coming the way of Get Right. He's instantly been snapped back. But Penta really buying up for this. And Exist, that last man left alive, Troubly waits for it perfectly.
So now they've got the lead. Their first lead since starting out. And they've still got a lot of guns to work with. They're going to keep that auto sniper up. Troubly's going to go with that. It's going to be, again, 5 AKs for NiP. See where they choose. I mean, they haven't had a whole lot of success toward ramp, aside from that one round where they caught the lucky player on the boost. But outside's been a real point of contention that's been quite equally answered. Dennis is going to go through mini this time. Speedy's all the way back behind the garage. Finally, they get an opening kill. That's Freiburg on Dennis. So that opens up one player upstairs, and Troubly and Crystal are both over at ramp. If they push through, they might be able to get site control. Then they've just got to hold off those angles. Be excellent if they could find Speedy before he got into heaven. But he's already fallen back and in that position.
So, Ninjas in Pajamas, you made one hole, as you were saying before, upstairs. But one hole is not enough to breach this Penta lineup, not when you're going up against such heavy firepower. Maybe when that push comes out, because next I think it was moving in. Forrest brings him down. Now there's a big hole. Alu, he's going to get done over the top of the doors, so a little bit of revenge there from Troubly. But the plant's on the way. The fire does drop as well, but Exist, he already brought down one in heaven. And the CT's trying to retake this one. Freiburg and Forrest staying on the site. Exist over at the tin shed.
I think, interestingly, yeah, they're going to save. They have a lot of money, but they might not. They don't want to throw it away.
It's the AWP and the auto. If they give the auto sniper or an AWP over to NiP at this point,
it's the AWP and the auto, and also that Nex has $1,200.
They've lost the auto. Oh no, that's just the one AWP. The auto is outside. Troubly, pick. He's going to bring down Exist. But at least Ninjas in Pajamas, if they want to, they can grab themselves the AWP.
Troubly's got to run though. Freiburg's still on the chase. They'll hold that angle. Ooh, that team flash came out. Freiburg almost caught for it.
That was Troubly.
It was Troubly's flash. My mistake.
It was Troubly's flash.
It was a blue trail, not a red trail, orange trail, pink trail, whatever color trail the terrorists are. So they'll get away with that. But I mean, that was a reasonable save. Sure, they could have forced out this round, which they end up doing anyway. But they still save onto that auto sniper. Had they all had to buy, would have been a lot more questionable. And then, of course, NiP has a chance for the comeback. We've got another quick pause because we've got apparently TeamSpeak crashing out.
I'm surprised the Ninjas in Pajamas. Like, it almost feels because they left the AWP alone. Like, that for me is like, well, where's your boost up to silo? Where's that pick on the outside? Are you not feeling confident to do that after the little high amount of fails which have already happened out there? Or is it next round we want to be committing in towards inside, so that's why NiP don't try and track down one of those AWPs, because they killed him and there was no one else near him.
And it's fragile at this point with the economy. Karen, we're going to bring you back in at this point. And just, I mean, what's your opinion on the way that NiP is playing it? Obviously, they're getting enough rounds T-side, but it looks like Penta's actually doing quite well. I don't know if your mic's on.
Yeah, his mic's not on just yet.
Or not, maybe it's not close enough to your mouth.
Try again.
There you go. Now you go.
I think that was their fault, not yours. It's always their fault.
What I was saying was that T is always difficult, even if you're playing a worse team than yourselves, as Penta is compared to NiP.
We've actually started again as well.
We start again.
Yeah, we
might let you finish your point, though, if you want to go ahead and...
Well, while we're watching the game...
Let's not miss any action. We'll come back to it later.
Show the game. Show the game. You can still talk at your point.
So Forrest gets the first in this round. That's next down. The point I was going to make is that the economy is getting slow. It's basically this round. for CT, if they lose it, are going to be hurting, and they're absolutely in pain because Forrest has another. Get Right contributes with one, and it's all on Troubley. This is your auto sniper again, and he's going to have to drop down onto Mini because there's no other way out of this. The bomb has been planted. It's going to be a 1-on-4 retake, or is he just going to do damage and go for exits? I mean, at this point, like I said, we go to 14 rounds. They're going to be saving regardless.
He's got to try and hold
15.
He's got to try and hold from Secret, and I think that's the reason why Freiburg has dropped down. Get to that Forest auto sniper. It's a wonderful weapon.
I don't think
he doesn't want it. They don't care about
side.
They don't care about it on the T side. Doesn't matter how wonderful you think it is.
I mean, it could be utilized, but it's this is working for them right now, and the aggressive style that they're playing with these quick peeks. Stick with the AKs.
Just keep beating them up inside as opposed to try and take these outside battles.
So stringing those rounds together and just being able to get enough kills in the previous rounds, like I said, it's now an eco for Penta, and that could really hurt because we're going to be playing basically for overtime at this point as we see those 5 AKs getting very aggressive outside again. They're through the smokes. Troubley's forced back. Still no line of sight. Great boost up by Exist, and in fact, they're going to put 2 up on top. They're getting above everything, and Forrest gets the kill on Troubley. Not happy with his aim. Just thought he'd show that off for us by blowing off the rest of his clip, but that's the first kill, and NiP's got the advantage.
Yeah, even into lockers, Get Right. They'll do a large amount of damage to Crystal, who's down to 65 life now. And they do want... Well, is this actually even an A breach? That bomb, it looks like it's going to go up through heaven at this point. But Get Right's waiting for Crystal just to peek it out. And Crystal's not having a bar of it. Speedy's, in fact, moving out from the ramp area, so Get Right needs to look down. Too late. Cops a bullet to the scalp. Now also another one. Speedy going big for 2 at least. As Freiburg catching Dennis. Dennis, he always wants to be so over-aggressive. Feeling that most of the players from NiP were outside. And now it's just up to Speedy. The last one left alive, and Ninjas in Pajamas will put this plant down.
And that's a point I think we'll get to in the post game is Dennis in general and how aggressive he's been. It hasn't really worked. There hasn't been any hero plays come out like we've seen from him in previous matchups on Dust 2. He's actually it was Exist that caught him once in lobby, if not twice, and various other rounds he's been caught off, and that's a man down early. And on a map like Nuke, information's pretty easy to get in other ways other than rushing into lobby like he has been. So, but we'll get back to that. They are going to have an AWP out for Force this time. It's going to be 5 M4s. But it's all to play for. Match point now in map number 1 for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, NiP want the early pickup. They boost Forest up so we can try and get a little bit of a vision over on Troubley, who has been playing around that red crate. But the outside currently getting massively smoked. And Penta flashing to try and just slow down this NiP approach. Got a second smoke now out from Exist. Troubley did manage to find one. Get Right battling Dennis as well. Pushing up so far, but Exist is able to level it up. Even tagging Nex up in heaven. But Secret and outside now belongs to Ninjas in Pajamas. But it is a 3-on-3 situation.
Alu throwing away that AWP over the fence outside too, just in case this round doesn't go their way. They don't want them to pick that up. He's just got to be careful though. Exist is down below, finds out Crystal. So that's one more down. But here comes that rotation through the vent from Nex. Speedy's also going to flash off Hut just to make sure there's no one else out there, but there's still a player lurking.
We got tagged as he came out of the vents. Next, not looking healthy. In fact, they're both in the same corner. Alu's able to grab one.
And Freiburg, there it is. There's your lurk player, and that's exactly why Speedy tried to push through. He flashed through, wanted that information, but Freiburg was just too far to the right. So he gets almost a little bit lucky that he wasn't spotted. They'll get that last round. So 16-13. It wasn't all comfortable, though.
No. Yeah, so this game pretty much mirrored the TSM NiP game over at ESL1, where TSM played it really well. Solid T side and starting off really well as CT. Similar here now with Penta. You know, T side wasn't perfect, but they got 5 rounds, which is pretty alright, especially against NiP. Swapped over, got into the game, got the money control, but then I don't know if it's because you're playing NiP or you generally getting quite nervous, but they did a lot of big errors, such as the boost. I think innovative as it was, they lost the duel because it was a bit too innovative, I'd say. They didn't really know what they were doing. I felt that at least. And furthermore, I think Dennis at 11-9, they were up against NiP on a fairly low buy, 3.5k, 3.7k, etc. They had AKs, they had armors, but no grenades. And when you're playing a standard round without grenades, then you depend on either just hitting your shots or the opponent, the CT, are, you know, just walking into your angles. And that happened there. So I actually felt that Penta had that game. They also managed to save the ult and the auto sniper right, which was great, because every now and then you do lose rounds, and it's just a matter of how you lose them. So they had pretty much the financial means to, you know, outface NiP in this game, but Forrest, he just like, you know, he killed it eventually. Even that he struggled a bit with his aim when his was on the main hut, but he just played really great.
I thought he was good. I thought he was their stronger player on CT as well. Just changing angles. We saw him from catwalk. We saw him from lockers. We saw him go over and support at ramp at times. I thought, I mean, that's the style of defense I like to see. Is just constantly trying to read your opponent and playing off your spawns.
Yeah, Forrest is extraordinary good at that. He just takes a peek, he refocuses and find another angle and just like mechanically just outmatch your opponent. Even that is significantly more difficult in the game of CSGO compared to 1.6. You can like get multi-kills. Forrest is still able to achieve that in Go, and that's what makes him very special. What also makes him extremely special is that surely not at the ESL 1 final. He is so consistent, and especially when it really matters. So when it's coming to like 12-12, 13-12, he can be really good. I know people out there, such as Thorin, will disagree with me in grand finals, but generally speaking, group stages, early playoffs games, he nails it.
All right. Well, it's time for a break as the teams are also grabbing themselves a beverage. So get yourself one as well. Subscribe to the channel while you're also here, because that's how you win yourselves free rares as well as supporting the tournament, because $2.50 from your subscription does go to the prize pool. So we'll have a short break and we'll see you back here for map number 2 when we reach Dust 2.
Down below, so that's a 1-1 trade, but Dennis resumes that position and already finds a kill. Squats up, Get Right waiting in the corner as well. Do it. ESL 1 on this map. Freiburg's already got the first. There's Forrest above. That's next to drop. Bomb's down in an awkward position as well, and now he'll collect Dennis. He's going to get more. It's Trouble to drop, but Crystal finally answers him from the top of Twinkie.
Forrest throwing out the nades, trying to keep back Penta, taking out Dennis as well, leaving one last remaining player, which Get Right.
Forrest is at lockers, so they've got a double shot right now, and there it is. Forrest with 2.
Good control. He's looking for a third one as well. He can see 2 players still outside here for Penta. But Get Right's landing the hand. Forrest is able to pick up his 3rd scalp for the round. And that just leaves Speedy. In the last round with 1 AK, there's no saving. He's got 50 seconds. I don't know if he's trying to call for a knife. He's at least going to kill off Forrest. Looking for the second, able to get him, but cannot wrap up one. In fact, they're now lost 2. As Penta holding in very, very tight. A little bit of a trade-off. But at the same time, with Forrest, the last man left alive, I take that back now, he's dead. Is he trying to flank up behind Penta? I think they realize they're getting flanked, so they're going to move up through comms into lobby, taking out Exist as well as Get Right. Alu's now going to arrive, but Speedy, though. He heard him coming. He was making so much noise on the way there, which Get Right did back when they were on Eco. Freiburg able to move up through Squeaky, taking out one, then up the rafters, takes out next as well. A beautiful patient breach. So 1 outside down, 1 B ramp down, and then the battle from Forrest. A little bit too late. Speedy's able to get the upper hand there. But the rest of NiP are waiting for the jump downs. The Speedy as well as next, working nicely. Jumping over, gets the crossfire, and the bomb's exposed. Alu's the man here, but with the Molotov dropping, it's just behind Alu. Actually, no, he must have walked back into the